Okay.
Hello, beautiful Lavana. I wanted to hit record straight away because there's always this beautiful energy when it's just raw and real instead of like, oh, what are we going to say? No, we just know what we're going to say. So how are you?
Hi, Katie. I'm
Hi.
really well. I'm super excited.
Well, I bet you are because
Yeah.
oh my God, you got results exploding. It's fun because in the Love Light Leadership Academy, the results are popping, popping, popping for lots of people. So I want to talk specifically with you and have you share your little journey. Well, that's an understatement. It isn't little. It is a massive, beautiful, awesome adventure journey you've been on. So, a little bit of background. You actually crossed my paths with My World many years ago in 2016 when a friend of mine referred me to your business partner who actually was a psychic. And she said, you know what? You need Lavana. At the time, I was, 3 months pregnant. My world was in a spin. I was working out where was I going in my future again. And I had been resisting for many years stepping into my soul calling because I'm like, well, who am I to do that? That sounds like too big and too much of a responsibility. But then there was this moment when I'm like, okay, I need to surrender. And then we crossed paths and you were just the divine love in my life who helped this bird with two broken rings heal. And we've stayed friends along the way. And then this year, after a series of events in your world, which the rest of the world, the whole world has been turned upside down, right? For everyone in the last few years.
Oh, yeah.
And you weren't exempt and you were like, ah! And I said, it's okay. It's happening for a reason. You're like, I don't like the reason.
Can I renegotiate?
But I said to you at the time, held the space for you, I said, I've been there in front of you, and I promise you on the other side of this is something really magical and wonderful. And you're like, oh, I just, So you came into my world through my programs through the Soul Alignment and Business Energetics course, which was the introductory course. And then you just said, yeah, this resonates, I'm in. So you came into the Awakened Soul program, which is the foundational program that sets you up with really becoming super aware and connected back into your intuition more consistently than not, because we get buffeted, knocked around with life and events and traumas and disruptions. And well, again, the world has had plenty of that. On a global level and an individual level. Yeah. And look, no one's exempt. No one's exempt. But anyway, going through that step, and then you said to me, because you've been doing healings and you've had this beautiful practice for 20 years, yes? Do you want to just share a little bit about 22 years? Like, yeah, sure. I'm going to pause at this moment and ask you just to share a little bit about your background before it all kind of went into like a change.
Okay. So originally I was living in Victoria and I had the most beautiful studio that I loved so much, and I was practicing as a healer for 22 years and I absolutely adored, and it was just absolutely my calling.
Absolutely.
And then we sold the property and we sold the studio and we did a road trip. So my healing became distance healing, and I very much missed my space, and I was a bit of a lost soul. And we ended up buying a block of land still a long time before we can build, and we were doing a road trip in a motorhome, and one day, I think it was at the start of last year, Katie called me, and I think her antennas must have been up because she was going, I've got this program, I just feel like you're needing it right now. And I really was. So I jumped right in, and I'm so glad that I did.
Oh, look.
So glad that I did. I not only did you help clear, I was feeling like a lost soul. I was feeling supported in a beautiful community of like-minded people, which you had created. And I remember you in one of my sessions with you, I was discussing with you, so what now? I'm a little bit over working one-to-one. How can I how can I steer this ship in a different direction but still feel like it's my calling? And it was like you got into my head, Katie. You absolutely nailed it. And you said to me, so you've had a successful home-based business for 22 years. Why don't you share with others and teach others how to do the same thing? And I thought, oh, yeah. It just made absolute sense. And I had this bubbling excitement within me, and you got me straight to work. And actually, I haven't looked back since then. I mean, there's still bumps, but oh my goodness.
Amazing.
It's one step, leaping ahead compared to where I was before that call from you.
And you know what I really love about your journey, Levana, is it mirrors mine so much, in the sense we're both masterful healers, and we both hit a crisis point where everything that was comfortable fell away. Oop, we've got you. There we go. It froze for a second. And everything that was comfortable was like being stripped and falling away.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Katie. Yeah.
Did you hear
Definitely.
that? Yeah. And it's scary. And the thing is, a lot of people are experiencing that right now, because the truth is, anything that is not in resonance with your soul's calling, and it's time to activate it. The minute you surrender to your soul's calling, everything that is not connected to that, people, places, circumstances, jobs, relationships, even money, like certain assets and attachments, I got goosebumps, they will fall away. And it's terrifying if you're not aware of that, right? Because it's kind of this sense of loss. And then it can, if we get caught up in the illusion of it, we then go into just sitting in grief way longer than we needed to, rather than really tapping into that, which is what you've done, is you tapped into that intuitive space again. And, you know, like, okay, I don't necessarily know exactly what's all over the horizon, all the steps yet, but I know it's there. And I'm like the lotus flower coming up through the mud and up through the murky water. You're following the light until you burst forth, right?
Great analogy.
It's uncomfortable. And as I always say, get comfortable being uncomfortable. And in the Awakened Soul program, that very foundational program, I teach incredible skills around emotional intelligence, intuitive skills, and just really how to harness and master your energy, so that when everything is just losing control, you're staying centered and balanced, right? And even, you know, look, we all know, like, even under the most extreme stresses, we can wobble fast. But with skills to be able to come back to the center, we don't have to stay in that uncomfortable, undesirable place for a long period of time. You know, some people stay there for decades, right? Right. And so it's really, really powerful.
That's too uncomfortable.
Oh, yeah.
And you are like the lotus flower. You poke your little head out, and then sometimes like, I think I'll poke back down again now. But it is onwards and upwards. Once you've made that commitment and it's your soul's calling, you've just got to keep that momentum. It's like this inner thing that it's driving me now, and I'm this deep sense of it's excitement, Katie. Like, it's excitement like I haven't had for like a really long time. Yeah.
Well, you converted, you transmuted all those nerves and the scared and the fear into excitement, and using that to inspire yourself moving forward, which is beautiful.
Hell yeah. Doing all these tasks that I've never done before, thinking, I will never be able to do this. And each time I have, you've applauded me, and it's with the beautiful group we're in. It's just, it's like you've got my wings. You're helping to lift me up, which it's really exciting.
I love it.
To the next level.
So for those who are watching this, I want to give them as much awareness around the tools available as possible, because you didn't just go from emotional skills and intuitiveness straight to launching your group training online, right? The challenge that I've been working online since 2006. The first product that I launched was a gluten-free cookbook in Australia. It was like one of 5 or 6 books in Australia. I was on TV shows and speaking publicly and doing amazing things. And then for personal reasons, which really was my personal healing from celiac disease, I was like, well, I can't, out of integrity, keep promoting this book. I need to actually show people that there's other healing methods going on that the medical industry doesn't want you to know about, right? And so that led me on a journey traveling the world, learning some of the best marketing and business skills and online skills from some of the top mentors in the world. And then in 2010, 2011, I started coaching people how to have the laptop lifestyle, because that's what I'd created. I'd gone from being a paramedic for 8 years, retired on income from property that I'd created with passive income streams in property and my online business. And people wanted to know, Katie, how did you do that? But what I found the biggest gap and the biggest challenge is helping people to break free from the programming, this paradigm of swapping your time for money 1-to-1, and also like your time, you know, for the hours, and then, you know, and it was just all too scary. And so I found that the percentage of people leaping forward with the successful results was smaller than I liked. And I really care deeply about people's results, right? Like I invest deeply to make sure that you get what you need. And I'm not interested in taking people's money for a program of a step-by-step. I want the transformation. And so in 2016, when I relaunched, I flipped it and it came the other way around. I showed people how to redesign their life, how to really get back connected with their soul, how to be in that vision, the values, the goals, in alignment with your soul, and how to have that emotional mastery, that harnessing and mastering your energy. And then working with those key beliefs, like what do you believe is available for you and not available? What do you believe is true? What do you believe is not true? And there was different beliefs you had when you first came in, right? Compared to now. Yeah.
Oh, definitely. Definitely.
So the Awaken Soul program is that foundational energy management, learning those skills. And then I took you through Soul Goal Academy, which is, I call it, from the Karate Kid, Mr. Miyagiing you around business and marketing, right? I'm teaching you all these skills in a subtle way where you don't realize through lots of practice that you're actually learning how to do business and marketing online. Because so many people, especially women, have a lot of, and spiritually caregiving women, heart-centered women, because we're so trained to give, and deprioritize ourselves, you know, at the bottom of the list. We come in with the programming with some really murky, dysfunctional beliefs around money, business, marketing, sales. And so to be able to go through in a deeper dive on energy, time, and money, how well did that prepare you before I then invited you into the Confidence Clients Cash Kickstart in the Love Light Leadership Academy?
Look, so well, Katie. Like you described earlier, I was in the working an hour for a certain amount of money, and that, although I loved it at the time, it's about working smarter, not harder. It's about making a bigger impact.
Yep. Which
is what really excited me. So all of the preparation and the different tools and techniques that you taught me absolutely prepared me to elevate to the next level.
Cool.
Absolutely. And I know that I couldn't have done it without you, because I was looking for somebody who had done it before. So you're like the way shower for me.
Thank you. Yeah, definitely. And that's how I've done my healing practice online, one-to-many, and done it online in a coaching soul pod. And then I just like when you came in, and this is something I always inspire people in my Confidence Clients Cash Kickstart container, which I introduced it to you and gave you the support in the 12-month mastermind with the Love Light Leadership Academy. That is very much strategy and technical. So like, here's the blueprint, the proven blueprint. Here's what I did that helped me create $250,000 in my first 18 months, and how I showed other people to do over 6K figures doing it as well. And everyone who comes in there, they're like, oh, now we see why you got us to do the Awaken Soul program first and Soul Goal Academy. Because
definitely great foundations for what's to come. It's definitely a process. Yeah.
Because the number one thing that will hold people back is belief. And it's the belief systems. It's those programs. And when you're given strategy without having any format of deprogramming from the paradigm that's keeping you stuck in a slavery system, then you all that muck's going to come up, right? And that, that lotus flower has got even more mud to crash through, right?
And, I'm someone who had done a lot of work on myself over the years. I'd helped to clear a lot of beliefs and things, but it just amazes me how many more, even at the deepest unconscious level, were lurking there. So you help to bring them to the surface as well.
Yeah. And, you know, my motto is get comfortable being uncomfortable, because I hold people in a hammock of love, right? Because it's not always comfortable going through it, but it's like,
It's not.
you don't have to face it on your own. And very quickly we transmute it, right? Quickly compared to, you know, sitting in it or most people will actively avoid the discomfort because they don't have the capability, the skills, or the facilitator to help them move through it, because you have to go through it. That's the scary bit most people have, and they think that they've got to do it alone. And it's like, no, find someone who is going to be, if not me, find someone who resonates with you, that it's going to be a really powerful experience for you to transmute those energies and transcend them, so that you're coming out of that egoic embrace, right? Or it's like a brace, like a lock, and then you can release that, and then now you actually get embraced by your soul, and it's so much lighter to live that way.
And in that group situation, everyone else is also going through at their own level, and the support and the soul connection that you have with the peers in the group is just, you know, it's just like, yeah, I can do this. They've all got my back as well. Everyone's wanting you to succeed and applauds you every step of the way, which has been really wonderful for me.
Awesome. And a really important note about that is the way that I've structured my business is to make sure that I'm an ex-paramedic. So I'm used to crisis, and I'm used to trauma and healing trauma, and I'm used to triage. And so what in the very beginning, from bringing people through, I am sorting and sifting to make sure people are the right fit at the right time for each of the levels. Because if someone isn't really truly ready, willing, and committed at that next level, the ego pops up and it strikes, and then it acts like a drop of cyanide in a glass of water, makes it completely undrinkable for everybody else, right? So it can disrupt the community. In my early days, I got an experience of that. So I had to really learn to have some really strong, healthy boundaries to be able to make sure that have a process that takes people on that journey through those steps, which is why the containers are so safe and sacred, right? Because there's no one that comes through that isn't a good fit. Right? And, you know, that's part of those skill sets right from the Awakened Soul program. I want to speak to this part about you were healing, doing healing sessions, and you're a magnificent healer. You were doing healing sessions one-on-one, and you said to me, Katie, I'm just burned out. You're like one-on-one, and it's just, I'm not sure if I want to really, you know, all of the type of the clients that I have. I've got a few that probably want more from me than you know, it feels a bit like out of balance. Let's put it that way.
I was giving too much, and I wasn't taking care of myself. I didn't have enough space between clients, and I was starting to attract clients that weren't actually my ideal clients. I was just I was in rescue mode, and I burnt myself out effectively.
Yep. Oh, got chills. Oh, so, and you said to me,
not
Katie,
good.
Yeah, I remember a call with you. And by the way, how valuable are the one-on-one balance calls and strategy consult /balance? Because I work the magic and everything, not just on the group sessions in each week, but the one-on-ones. How crucial have they been to you in your success?
Oh, look, before some of those calls, Katie, I was wobbling all over the place, and I felt completely, it's like you got rid of all the wobbles, and I was centered and aligned and ready to move forward. I particularly love your energy clearing activation tool. That's amazing. That's really amazing. So you have the ability to get to the heart of the matter. I don't know, you've got supersonic antennas there, Katie, and it's like you can look right in and see what's going on, and
I do.
and you're so quick, you know, like you do it so quickly. It's just like, wow, fasten your seatbelt. Yeah. And I always feel amazing afterwards.
Oh, bless you. And it's just such a joy to watch you literally transform in the video, like from this to this, like this contracted state to full expanded and light activation. It's beautiful. You and all the others. And in the group sessions too, when we're doing those in the group pods, one person's transformation is a ripple effect on everybody else's. It's just a really beautiful experience. But I want to speak to this this transformation from shifting from working one-on-one, swapping time for money. By the way, you've gone from, I think, when you first came on board, you had your price point and then you raised it to 180 an hour. So what was your price point when you first came in? 125? 120?
It was, no, it was a little, well,
150.
It used to be 150, but I also used to, when I had my studio, I would have an essence just to, fluff it up a little bit and give them something to support them, like the lolly bag as they were leaving. So now my prices have gone up to
you told me
$220 an hour.
Yeah,
yes.
That's awesome.
And 180 for 45 minutes. So
amazing.
It's a lot better. And it feels like it's a more even exchange. I'm not exhausted afterwards.
I remember when you felt nervous about increasing your prices, you cackled at me on the phone, actually. You're like,
what will they say? What will they think?
And recently, even when we were going through your offer for your online program, you're like, no, I'm worth at least $300 an hour. And the conviction that you spoke that with was just divine. It's like, yes. But I want to talk about this one-to-one to one-to-many, because some of the things that you were believing were true about yourself in that transition, that I know a lot of people have this experience, right? And this is a really valuable share to have, is you were very attached to the belief that you could only do one-on-one. You were like, I don't do one-to-many. It's, and I don't do tech. And oh my God, it's like, white knuckling. No, I don't do tech. Fighting.
It's funny. I used to be a preschool teacher, and having all these faces on a screen of adult faces was more terrifying than ever. All these children in front of me. That, along with the tech challenges that I've had. Yes, that was really, really scary.
But look what you did. You overcame it. I mean, I've helped you a lot with that, but you did it. You were willing, sometimes not so willing. But I'm like, holding the support. I'm like, let's reframe this. Let's look at this a little differently, have a different perspective. And I showed you the step-by-step. And sometimes it took a couple of times to really get to that place, but you felt well supported to be able to know exactly what to do and how to do it. Now, here's the beautiful thing. You went from like, I'm really, really, really not sure about this and then you had the adjustment. You were like, yeah, I'm ready for this. And then when you did it, you're like, I actually enjoyed it.
I was so surprised. Actually, I was so in my happy place when I was doing it. I couldn't believe it.
Yeah, look at your face. It's beautiful.
I know, because I had a download on my birthday about 6 weeks ago, and it was because I'd been doing all my clearing work. I was just this moment of clarity of what the next steps were, and I thought, okay, it's time. I've been talking to Katie about doing this, but it's time for me to take action. So I did, and I've done 4 one-hour webinars now, and I was just so in my happy place. I felt so like this is what I'm meant to be doing, and I'm really grateful that you pushed me, Katie.
Oh my God.
In a loving way.
So let's talk a little bit more technically, strategy, results wise here, because before I go to some specifics here, I want to actually identify the way that I show you how I've always done it, how I do every product and service that I offer. I always run a beta test. And initially, you thought that you were going to maybe offer an invitation to invite other healers to learn how to heal, set up their own studio healing practice. And it's so, you learn the lesson, the beautiful lesson of how to really engage and connect with people and be fully present so you can hear the feedback of what they need right now. Because one of the things that I discover is that when we activate our soul gifts, or we go to step into fully activating them, it's only when we are in the presence of people and leading them through our pathway that it mirrors back with, holy heck, how much more I know, and I need to step this right back to help people, here. So you've pivoted based on the feedback, and now you've got this beautiful container that you've offered for 2023 called All Things Healing, and you're going to show them your healing modalities. Is that correct?
Yes, because not everybody wants to have a home-based healing business, but many of them want to learn more about healing for themselves and for others. So I had a questionnaire, and I did a Zoom with each of the group participants. I was asking lots of questions, so I was able to define what it was that they were looking for. So I changed what I thought that they were looking for to addressing what it is that they're actually needing, and that's become my whole next program that I'm offering now. So it's so exciting.
It's super exciting. And I pulled a face then because I nearly dropped my phone because I wanted to quickly do some numbers again, because you had 20 people, was it 20 people who came into your introductory, your 4 calls to be able to hey, look, I just want to take you through the little bit of a process of what I've done with my healing practice and connect you with it, and then invite you to that next step. And as a beta test to help fulfill the journey of really tailoring it to what their needs are, you've given them a very special offer, which is really incredible. And I'm not going to define it here because I know you're not going to repeat it again. And those who didn't join you, well, tough, they missed out. But, but the thing is that you have created, out of 20 people, you've already got 7 confirmed sales, correct?
Correct. I know, and I've got eight who are in the pipeline that I still need to follow up with it again, but I'm pretty confident that most of them will be wanting to join me. So yeah, it's far exceeded my expectations.
It's far exceeded your expectations. Now remember, you are charging for a one-on-one $220 an hour. You've now got 7 confirmed sales with almost $5,000, over $5,000 because of the payment plans, right? It's money in escrow as well. So you got people who pay in full and people who pay in payment plans. But then you've got a 35% confirmed conversion rate, which is wonderful, and possibly up to 75% based on how many more of those other 8 people are going to join you. Now that's freaking incredible. And I want to address this one key thing, because like most people, and even myself at one stage, and I still hate the way most people do sales, because it's salesy and it is slimy. But you had this real resistance to I don't want to make the sale.
Oh, yeah.
It's the sales. And I'm like, how valuable has the communication skills and the sales invitation conversation that I've taught you been for you in this process?
It was a huge process, I have to say. There was a lot of resistance, but I found you gave me a few different strategies, Katie, and the way you delivered, I used in my own language, and it felt really comfortable. And I knew that my offer was really good. They'd be mad not to take it up. So I really believed in what I was offering them, a great opportunity rather than selling them something. So that was the shift for me.
Yeah. And it took a little while for us to massage that offer, right?
It took a few big chats.
Yeah.
But all of this has occurred from the day I had that download on my birthday. This is in under 6.
That's you getting in flow with your
under 6 weeks.
Yeah.
Under 6 weeks, this has all happened. So it's been really fast.
Yeah, and that's what happens. You manifest at warp speed when you connect with your intuition and you listen and you take immediate aligned action. The minute you do that, it's like you drop the ego, which is connected with all the fear and trying to control it, into the, oh, but this is what I know. And like, this is why I say get comfortable being uncomfortable, because you're going to be navigated into the unknown. You've got to be holding that space and just hold the excitement. And you did that, and look what you've done. You know,
I know. Who would have thought?
And you're about to impact, like you already are impacting these beautiful souls in such a delightful way, but you're going to really take them to the next level. So I'm on a bit of a time constraint here, so I really do need to wrap that up, but I'd love to do another call with you and have a part 2, because this is, you know, we're on the precipice of you've just done all the conversions, you've done your first beta test, like intro round. Now you're going to do the whole online experience. And the thing is, you've learnt skills now for life. Rinse, repeat, rinse, repeat. You've gone from one-to-one to one-to-many in a way that it's a much more juicy way to be. And you've got a lot more time to yourself. Now, initially, when you're building out the program, there's obviously on that foundational level, there's some building and creation to do. But once you've done that, you've got an asset, right? Because you're into property as well, right? It's like a digital property asset. And then this is something that you've got forever, plus the skills you've learned along the way to get there. So I'm celebrating you so much. And I'm excited.
Thank you, Katie.
What would you say to someone sitting on the fence about maybe coming into our community, working with me, or taking on the first step, which is the Awakened Soul program? What would be one takeaway that you'd say to them before we close up the call?
Don't miss out on the opportunity. You can either stay where you are and just move a little bit, or you can go with Katie and fly like the butterfly. Really, it's it really, if you want to move quickly and have great rapid transformation, it's a no-brainer to go with you, Katie. Oh. And I love the group. Like, I feel like I've made all these beautiful soul friends forever and ever, and it's not just there's been so many wonderful advantages to having you as my coach, so I'm forever grateful. Just do it.
Thank you so much, and I look forward to continuing to support you and sharing your next phase 2 of your expression of your beautiful magic impact. Awesome.
Can't wait to share the next installment.
Fantastic. I'm just going to close the recording up.